Hi guys, welcome to Money Theory. In today's video, we're going to talk about student loan repayment. So repayment now begins in October of this year. Previously during COVID, they had been freezing the requirements to pay student loans and also freezing the interest rate accumulation. So now reality is back. Now we have to focus on repaying the student loans. Remember that interest accumulates beginning on September of this year. And even though loans won't default until October of next year, it's important to start paying now to avoid interest building up. Remember to not default. Defaulting will damage your credit score, and it will also be difficult to get a home mortgage, a car loan, or even a phone service plan. And bankruptcy will not wipe out the debt. If you default, IRS can garnish your wages and even your tax refunds, unless you enroll in the Fresh Start program. You might be wondering if you should refinance. That may potentially extend the length of the loans and the amortization, but recently, due to the rate hikes, refinance may be more expensive. You can see in the chart for the interest rates currently, and compare that to the interest on your student loans that you have now, and then you can decide if it is worth refinancing. So the key to our strategy is to focus on budgeting. Our first step is to find out the monthly take-home pay. So if you're on W-2, your taxes are already withheld, so this is pretty easy. You just look at your bi-weekly paycheck and multiply it by 2.2. Or if you want to simplify it more, you can just double it. So for example, if your paycheck is $2,000 multiplied by 2.2, and you get 4.4K for take-home pay every month. Now if you are self-employed, which is 1099, independent contractor, or if you have your own business, taxes are not withheld. So the first step is you get your gross pay, and then you subtract it by any deductions, like any business expenses, or if you have any cell phone, or office rentals. Subtract that, and you get your net pay. Then you go to Smart Asset Take-Home Pay Calculator, and you can find your semi-monthly take-home pay. Then you multiply that by 2.2. So an example, let's start with $80,000 for the gross pay. Subtract that from $10,000 for the deductions, and you'll get $70,000 for net pay. Now we're going to show an example on the Smart Asset Take-Home Pay for what it will look like. So here, you enter your net pay and the salary per year for $70,000. After calculating, you'll get semi-monthly take-home pay of $2,000. From there, you multiply by 2.2 and you'll get 4.4K monthly. The next part is figuring out your monthly expenses. So just break it down by category to make it easier. And you can also look at your credit card statements and bank statements to figure out how much you've been spending. Here's a table as an example for the expenses. In our example here, we have housing at $800 a month, transportation at $500 a month, food at $800 a month, utilities at $100, insurance at $300, and then personal hobbies and hanging out is $300. That totals out to $2,000 a month. Then the final step is finding the cash flow. You get your take-home pay, subtract the expenses, and then you have your cash flow. So an example, we have 4.4K minus 2K equals 2.4K. Now, that is the amount that we have left over after just expending for living. So we can divide that into saving, investing, and paying off a debt. So the first step is to decide on the emergency fund. It's typically about 3 months of expenses, and you'll gradually contribute into this from your cash flow. These are to pay for any emergency, like a car repair, medical bills, or any family emergency. So in our example, we have $2,000 monthly times 3 equals $6,000. And then we can contribute $1,000 a month into building up that. Now with the remaining money, we can decide whether to invest and pay off the debt. So it's a long-lasting debate whether to focus on investing or paying off the debt first. One rule of thumb is that if your debt is less than 4%, it's not a hurry to pay off. And that's because a conservative investment like an index fund or a broad market target retirement fund will average about 10% annually. So on average, investing will be better. However, the range each year could be from negative 30% to positive 30%. So you have to be careful. And here's a distribution of the annual returns for the S&P 500. You can see how much it varies. So it's a personal assessment on which to focus on. You can divide evenly or put a focus into one. In our example, we're going to pay $1,000 into the student loan payment and $400 into investing. So for closing thoughts, stay focused, don't get anxious. Anxiety and fear is due to uncertainty, but having a plan reduces the uncertainty. Remember that life is a marathon, not a sprint, so celebrate your milestones. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you'd like to support our channel, you can join our Patreon or buy me a coffee. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We also completed our financial coaching and business consulting website. Please check it out at moneytheory.net.